Innovation will always influence the world, making great ideas and even greater results possible. Most big bangs in society are formed due to a surge in new forms of technology and transportation, each paving the road for new possibilities. These developments prompt people to evolve alongside them, and there is no better place to look than America in the late 19th century. Richard Sears, a pioneering entrepreneur, transforms the nation by taking advantage of the new railroad system to form Sears, Roebuck and Company, known today by most people as Sears. This triumphant business revolutionized America with the mail-order catalog, granting everyone access to goods across the country. The new style swiftly changed the economy, providing new jobs to thousands of workers and spawning a financial success. Over a century later, Sears and his accomplishments are seen as legendary as the company continued to grow. However, due to the new technological advances and an ever-growing access and dependence on them, Sears now tragically faces bankruptcy, falling victim to new businesses, surpassing the Chicago icon, sweeping control over the modern industry and leaving many unemployed. Sears would begin as a dream of an entrepreneur. Employed in the Minneapolis-St. Louis Railroad Station in Minnesota, Richard Sears saw himself in a position for financial success. In 1886, he started off with a batch of pocket watches he picked up from a local jewelry shop, hoping to resell them all to other station agents across the lines. The so-called R.W. Sears Watch Company had very slow starting sales, like most businesses. That being said, one order would soon become a dozen, and then a dozen would become 100 dozen, giving Richard confidence in his plans. He devoted himself to the business, moving to Chicago in hopes for expansion. After reading an ad for a business partner and a watchmaker in the Chicago Daily News, Alvin C. Roebuck responds in hopes for success. The two young men thus formed the first long-term business, dubbed Sears, Roebuck and Company. The two were greeted by nothing but success for years to come. This was due for their creation of the mail order catalog. The first complete Sears mail order catalog would appear in 1893, having hundreds of goods filling up over 300 pages. The catalog would continue to grow, adding new items in genres like sports, house appliances, and clothing. Each of these items could be ordered and delivered right to you. Due to the developing consumer culture, the majority of Americans were now able to purchase luxuries such as jewelry and new utensils for personal use, like the sewing machine. Soon enough, things would get very crazy. Sears, Roebuck and Company outgrew their base of operations multiple times as their business grew. Through the end of the 19th century and the early 20th, it was readily apparent that Sears was leading the charge, upgrading quality and shipments and efficiency. Though the mail order catalogs alone wouldn't cut it going forward, the executive staff soon realized that retail options would need to be considered in order to compete with the new thriving chains. Thus, Robert E. Wood, as the current vice president, steps up to the plate to take on the challenge. In 1925, Sears would open up its first very own retail store in Chicago, though in a couple of years, Sears and a lot of other businesses wouldn't feel so good. I wonder what happened. Oh, yeah, the Great Depression. Oh. Despite this, retail expansion would not be stopped, as the company would match and overtake many other companies. Going forward, Sears would no longer just be Sears. Sears would create new brands such as Craftsman, Die Hard, Allstate, and Discover. At the same time, it would also put its label onto other companies, like Land's End and Kenmore. Fun fact, the name Allstate came from a tire manufacturing subdivision of Sears. The name was chosen out of a contest of all things. Years after Richard passed away in 1914, Sears, Roebuck and Company confidently rises for years to come, unfazed by its competition. This confidence would slowly dwindle away over time. Signs of decline would first appear in the 1960s with the creation of a store, the one and only Walmart. Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, gave people hope in a store with low prices and great service, an extremely different approach than any of his competitors, like Sears. Retail brands like Walmart and Target would become the focus for many consumers.
Sears would soon lose its biggest tie to its origins, as the big book catalog would soon be discontinued in 1993, as times were changing and the catalog formula was aging fast. Sears.com was created in 1999 in hopes to reawaken a catalog-style business. It gave a small spark of hope, but that spark would quickly die out. The era of e-commerce was here, and Sears as a whole was left to experiment and hope not to fail. The problem with the website and the stores was actually pretty simple. They were not appealing anymore. Quality in the store was slowly falling along with the annual income and the stock. Sears was heading into a field that it was not prepared for, as young companies started to shine and Sears was left in the dust. Like the tower, many Sears assets would soon discard its label. One man had faith in the company. Eddie Lampert and his own equity fund, ESL Investments, placed stock in both Kmart and Sears as he saw potential. In 2005, he would merge both of them together to form one company called Sears Holding Corporation. While increasing revenue for the corporation and a couple of the stores, he was also selling off very important assets. Lampert was fighting a losing battle as cash was low in the stores and Lampert refused to think about bankruptcy. But in October 2018, he could not deny it anymore as Sears Holding Corporation filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Many stores faced liquidation and thousands of jobs were threatened. Through the first week of February in 2019, Lampert tried to strike a deal to save at least 45,000 jobs. At the end of the argument, Lampert was only able to save about 10,000 jobs. There's no denying the tragedy of the bankruptcy of Sears, when it has touched the lives of so many people. It is sad to see so much effort be put in only to go out in vain. But to end this on a positive note, I like to think that Sears went out symbolically. America has changed in the last 133 years. It has seen wars, revelations, culture spikes. One of the biggest ones was caused directly by Sears, a rebirth in consumer culture. Sears was there through all of it, having influence on all those events, which to me is a gigantic triumph. Lampert believes in this idea too. When given the time to openly reflect, he said,
"I believed back then that massive change was coming to retail, and with massive change comes massive opportunity. If the world of retail was going to be stable, it would have been much more difficult to create something different. There'd be no Amazon, just a larger Walmart. And there would not have been the opportunity for Sears to break from the pack once again and change the face of retailing like it always had in the past."
Sears was born because there was a need for change in America. It's only fitting to send it off to the afterlife the same way. Thank you.
You can make a house a home, make a place that's all our own.